Hello again, this is Mr. Taylor. This video is the second of three videos on citations for the honors comp paper. In this video, we will cover some government sources that you might run across. So we're going to take a look at citing the Constitution, and we'll also take a look at citing a government publication, which is a fairly complex citation. So first, the Constitution. If you head to the sources page here, we're going to click on website because again, the assumption is that rather than having a physical printed copy of the Constitution or something from a book, is that you went online and found a copy of the Constitution there. If you look under website, you'll see U.S. Constitution is down here at the bottom, and when I click that, it will take us into a form to sign the Constitution. And this is actually the form we will end up using. I just want to point out there's a warning here, sort of just to let you know. If you're citing an edited non-periodical publication, use the book form instead. If you're using an online transcription, use the website form. You could use the online transcription and use the website form. However, it's got some definite drawbacks to it. If you were to do it, it wouldn't be wrong, but what it does is it complicates your in-text citation. I would highly recommend using the more generic Constitution form, and the reason why, I'll show you at the end, has to do with the in-text citation. This will allow your in-text to look correct, and there is a very specific form of in-text citation with the Constitution that you don't find in other types of citations. So, as long as you've made those choices, you can go in and fill it in. If the information is very basic, you look at, okay, where's it posted at? What's the name of the website? I used a website that's called Constitute from the constituteproject.org. It's got constitutions of a lot of different countries. You could certainly use. There's a wide variety. The National Archives has one. There's tons of sites out there that would have a copy of the Constitution. So if we scroll down, who's the publisher of the site? And again, sometimes when you're looking on websites, sometimes the quickest thing to do is to go back to the main page and look for any copyright info and anything like that. But what we see is that this website is published by the name of the website is also the publisher of the website, which means we don't have to repeat that information there. All we have to do is go and put the URL in. So we will go ahead and do that, and then put today's date. Now, you'll want to make sure that you know the article number and the section of the Constitution that you'll be citing. The clause isn't as important, nor the action or the year. So we're really just filling in just a little bit of information here. You'll see you'll also use Roman numerals. So let's say we are citing from, let's scroll down a little, but let's say it is Article 2, and there's Section 3. If we go back, Roman numerals, Section 3, notice that's not Roman numerals. And then all we have to do is save the citation. And we have a really straightforward, very simple, but easy to follow citation here. The U.S. Constitution, Article 2, Section 3. I know exactly what part of the Constitution you are referring to then. Sometimes we'll have students who will cite the entire Constitution, or they'll use the website form, and we won't know which article or which section you're specifically referring to. I shouldn't have to read the entire Constitution to know what area of it you are referencing. Finally, and again, one of the reasons we chose this format for citation is because it tells us specifically where to go. It gives us the website that we found the Constitution on, but it also, for the in-text, and I'm under options and then in-text, shows you exactly what the in-text should look like. U.S. Const period, art, period, 2, comma, section, dot, 3. You can just copy that straight out for your in-text citation if you'd like, or copy it over. However, it does need to appear that way in your in-text. So make sure that you follow up by including that in your actual paper. We'll now move on to a different type of government document. This one is one of the more complex types of citations that you can do, partly because we talked before about the nesting. What we're going to find here is we're going to cite a report of statistics that was run by the government, published by a government agency, and then put out on their website. And so what we end up with is a couple of layers here, and we have to account for all those layers, and there's a specialized form to do that. So the form needed in order to cite this will be, again, we go to news source and website, because again, you most likely found this by searching the web. And we have kind of two options on this page. There is all of the government documents are over here, and there's US report or document. I think this is probably the most sort of natural place to start. However, we're actually going to end up using a report, a technical or research report, and I'll show you why in just a second. But if you wanted to shortcut, this is the type of citation we'll actually be doing. If I hit on US report or document, it gives me a warning right here, and it says, use this form to cite a federal report issued by Congress. Freestanding reports issued by organizations or government departments like the CRS or the GAO can be cited as technical or research reports. So many of the published documents that you'll cite will come from different departments. Maybe it's the Department of Transportation. In this case, we'll cite one from the Department of Education. Now, if you're citing an actual publication from the House or the Senate, which I have seen done and is not totally uncommon, you'll use the form that's right here. It's not that different than what we would fill out. However, I found that the technical or the research reports are far more common, usually because they're filled with statistics and information about the different topics. So we go to fill out first the website information, and even though it's published by the U.S. government, that could mean that it's put on any variety. The government has a ton of websites, and so we still have to specify some of this info from the top. I'm going to cite this document. It's called Public High School Students Career and Technical Education Course Taking from 1992 to 2013. It's really some statistics about the aspirations of high school students and getting college degree and what their expectations were as far as technical education. So, and that part isn't not so important, but again, just as an example, this is the one we'll use. So first I go to the main site, and we see that it's on the National Center for Education Statistics website. And so put that in there. URL, I want to use the URL from the actual document, which may be a PDF, actually commonly is, and that is completely acceptable. Just link that PDF right there. The form for citing a PDF looks almost exactly the same as a website. If you do have to run across or cite a PDF, the only difference is that you just put in the link for the PDF instead of like a website link. DOI, we don't have a DOI in this case, so we will skip that, but again, that's preferred if it's available. Then we have the actual report information. There are two authors of the report. We'll see Albert Y. Liu and Laura Burns, so we'll go ahead and put their information in there. And I will say it's pretty common not to have an author for government publications. If you were to not have this information clearly identified for you, I would not worry too much about it as long as you've looked for it and tried to identify it. Then we get the title of the report. So, and for time's sake, we will get that in there as quickly as possible. We'll paste it in, and you'll see the report description. I wouldn't say it's absolutely essential that you get this information right. If you're not sure, just put report. If it's a research report or a technical report, you could select one of those. In this case, we've got a research report because they're reporting back on the research that they did, and that is what we will classify it as. The number, sometimes there's a number, in fact, a lot of times with government reports where it's assigned a certain number. In this case, this is NCS, NCES 2020-0110. We're going to copy that over and place the number. They've already filled in for the publisher, Government Publishing Office. The GPO publishes basically everything sort of government related. And what's different here, and actually what I need to go back and do, and I almost missed it, is we've got to click this box that says issued by a government department or agency. That's going to help to give us an extra blank. So government body, we're going to leave because we don't have a specific government body that we're attributing this to, but we do need to fill in the Department of Education. And if you're watching, my lights turned off in my office all the time, so I'm just gonna finish this. But if you're wondering why I'm in the dark, they just automatically turn off whenever I'm working. So the Department of Education is our publisher, and we can find that by jumping back here. And I mean, of course, you see it right there. Actually, I should add US to the front of that, and I will. Also, if I go back to the main website where I got this from, the original website, you'll see that the contact info, U.S. Department of Education, it's identified down here for us as the government agency. So kind of interesting because with an agency who normally you would think we would put this as the publisher, and we kind of would, except that the U.S. Department of Education then sends all their stuff to be published to the Government Publishing Office. So we have to list both. And you'll see in the works cited, the Department of Education actually gets credit as the main author of this, not the individuals who are listed right here. And that's unusual too. So there's a lot going on that doesn't fit in our typical citation. At this point, we want to fill in the date of publication, which is November 2020. And I'll go back. That's clearly identified on the PDF right there. You can see it's right at the top. So we've got everything filled out. It's not part of a series. We don't need a publication city, so we get to skip those. We're going to go ahead and save the citation. Although, and this is a mistake I often make, you do need to switch these over to the authors. You have to identify their role. It won't let you save unless you do. So if you get that same warning that I just got, make sure you go back and do that. Now it should let me save, and I'll double check the citation to make sure I did not miss any pieces to it. So here we have the U.S. Department of Education from the study Public High School Students Career and Technical Education Course Taking 1992 to 2013. It was by Albert Y. Liu and Laura Burns. There's the research report number. Government Publishing Office is the publisher, and that was done in November of 2020. We see then that it's on the National Center for Education Statistics website. Here's a link to the specific PDF, and we accessed it on April 6th. Again, you see the nesting levels here. There's a lot of different information. It's one of our longer citations so far. So definitely a little bit more involved, but some of these, as I said, some of these reports can be very useful for your research. I'll follow this video up with one on some other types of web citations, including YouTube and Twitter. So that will be in the next part. If you need to cite either, if you have sources from either of those, please check that one out. Thanks and good luck.